Hey everybody. So in this podcast, we're going to be talking to Blake from Royal Coins. Blake's one of the people on this podcast that knows a lot of knowledge and has been working in coins all his life. And so in this episode, we're going to specifically dedicate it to talking about his story, asking him some questions from Drew and Casey, just to answer some of your questions that you guys might have potentially as well, because Blake has a lot of knowledge, and we're so thankful to know him.
Fri Sat.
Give us a little background, Blake, about your story, about your dad. How did this all come to be?
We have a store called Royal Coins. We're in Houston, Texas. The store's been there since 1973.
Is he cutting out on your end?
All right. Shop's been there since 1973. There has been a few owners along the way. I believe I am the, fourth or fifth owner of the store. I picked it up from my father. My father bought it from a buddy of his who felt like getting out of Houston and moving up to the Austin area and to move into a larger shop and have a bigger operation. So I picked it up from him, picked it up from my dad a couple years back, work it damn near 24/7, and it's been a really fun experience.
So how did you guys kind of start out in, because I know that you guys haven't had a shop forever and you guys acquired it along the way, but what was kind of like your dad's weekly routine when he didn't have a shop?
When he didn't have a shop, we did coin shows, lots and lots of coin shows. He's been doing coin shows since before I was born, and that's how we really got into the industry and into getting into a coin shop. It just grew and grew and grew and outgrew the coin shows and wanted to do it on a bigger level. So I've been working at coin shows since I was a kid, even before I could remember. When I was a baby, they used to stick me under the back table while they worked the front. And as I grew up, my dad taught me different ways to conduct business and interact with the customers and do trades. And so I've been buying and selling coins since pretty much I could walk and talk.
Go for it, Casey.
Would you say that owning and running a coin shop and being a coin dealer is something that you wanted to do when you grew up? Everyone has these different occupations that they dream of having. Would you say that coin dealing is what you wanted to do, live and breathe?
When I was growing up, no, not really. I was really into sports, really into off-roading and four-wheelers and dirt bikes and mechanics and building stuff. And so when I was younger, I thought maybe I'd do something, racing cars or doing these, four-wheel races and dirt bike races and things like that. We used to do bicycle races and, make these really big jumps when we were little kids and all these ramps and cool things. And so, I thought I would be more doing that. But as I grew up, I saw that, being your own boss and not having to work for somebody was where it's at.
Do you think that bend towards somewhat having a mechanic, I'm not saying, I guess, you had a bend towards being mechanically inclined, you are an outdoorsy person, a very ingenuitive person. Do you think that is translated over to what you do now as being somewhat inventive as well as, I guess, a go-getter at heart?
Kind of creative, I guess, right?
Yeah, you got to think outside the box. Helps a lot to having that mindset, just thinking outside the box a little bit and coming up with new ideas and new ways to help the industry and fill some holes and gaps along the way.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting how how coin shows were kind of the main way of people coming together to buy and sell coins, but now it's kind of it's moved a little bit to online. So how is that for you? I mean, because, you know, when we think about it, really, we're living on the backs of giants, right? Our parents kind of paved the way for us and paved the way for you in terms of just getting your name out there and your reputation out there. But now that things have kind of transferred a little bit from coin shows to online, how has that been for you? Has it been like kind of an interesting and rewarding process? Just how do you view that kind of, you know, living off the back of what your dad did and now trying to move into online more, you know?
It's a real good experience coming from basically before the internet was out there, how business was conducted to how it's conducted today. The coin shows are still a real big part of the industry. A lot of people like the face-to-face interaction. They like to see the coins in person before they buy them. There's a lot of deals at coin shows that you can still come up with. And it was cool watching the transition go into online, into websites. eBay platform was a big one that we used for a long time. It's a really cool process to get the experience going from one side of it to the other side. And now we utilize both of them. I like our website. It gets us out there. We don't have to travel as much. But on the other side, we go to the coin shows, and then the customers at the coin shows get to view our website when there isn't a coin show.
Right, so it keeps people kind of on like a 24/7 loop of what they can expect from you in terms of either coming to your shop if they want to, or they could go to a coin shop or a coin show if they wanted to and see you, or they could go to like see your eBay store, anything that they really wanted to do. What's something that you I guess what would you recommend for someone kind of starting out? Would you recommend that they go to a kind of a show first and get to understand the business tactics and what to do, and then move more into a kind of a shop kind of thing? Or what would you kind of recommend if someone was starting out tomorrow and wanted to kind of be like you and do things that you did?
Yeah, definitely check out the coin shows. Excuse me. Yeah, check out the coin shows. You can get a lot of information, meet a lot of cool people, and get your foot in the door. That's going to be the main key in the industry, getting your foot in the door. And
if you want to take an intermission, we can.
Yeah, cut the damn.
Cut this, Dwight. All right.
Yeah, Dwight, cut this shit out.
Down that sucker. You need your water, man. Yeah.
Well, you get your throat all. It's like you're swallowing cotton.
Would you recommend starting out at shows because it kind of gives people the business tactics that they need? Because
the roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of online people don't understand. I mean, they just, they live in the suburbs somewhere. They haven't been to a coin show. They get online and they buy something and want to sell it, and then it ends up being kind of a tough time for them to transition and understand everything. But sometimes I think it might be easier to just recommend, like, what would you recommend for people wanting to understand how to acquire business tactics? Because I feel like, I know we're selling coins, but it's also like, how do you interact? How do you introduce yourself? How do you make sure they remember you? You know what I mean? Like, what would you kind of recommend for people that wanted to not only get into coins, but get into like the coins and the business, right? It's a coin business in a way, What would be your answer for that?
I'd go with the coin shows. Good place to start. Meet a lot of good people. Get to know how to talk to the customers, how to interact, see other people's pricing. That's a big thing. Everyone has their own pricing structure and how they want to look up prices or price things, or some people have a big connection to their coins and think it's worth a lot more than it is, or it's not worth enough, or whatever the situation is. And they can go at coin show. There's so many dealers there. You have the opportunity to see everybody's prices right there, right in front of your face, and it's a real good opportunity to real good learning experience on that side. Then you get to talk to customers, meet new customers. You have a website, get to send a lot of people to your website just by meeting them at the coin show.
Yeah, I feel like when people say there's instant gratification, we live in an instant gratification world, right? For me, everyone says online's instant gratification. I'm like, it's not instant gratification. I have to buy the coin, I have to wait 4 days, and then maybe it'll come in, right? I feel like coin shows are instant gratification on so many other levels, where it's like, I can go to a show and I could source, I can go to a show and I could sell, I can go to a show and I can meet new people, and that's, you're driving that few hours, but it's like there's so much more instant gratification there because there's just so many more opportunities. It feels like you're not hidden behind a screen, you're not trying to, I could, instead of me DMing one person and then having to finish that conversation and DM somebody else, I can go talk to someone at a coin show, literally turn around and go talk to somebody else and meet them and tell them my story. So yeah, I could really relate with how, people should really start going to coin shows and kind of just coming into a kind of community. My next question would be, where was there a certain point in your childhood, or like when you maybe left high school, when was that point in your mind where it like clicked that you wanted to pursue this, like what you wanted to pursue coins and be your own boss? What was that time in your life where you're like, this is what I want to do?
That time would be, I would say, around probably 17 years old. After getting into the different jobs, doing, going to work for people, working at automotive store, working at a Whataburger, working at these little odd and end jobs where that really wasn't fun for me. You're not the boss. You definitely have no say. You have to do exactly what they tell you to do, or you have no job. If you needed to go do something during the day, well, tough luck. You're not going to do it. You have to wait till you get off. So seeing that I could be my own boss, I could have the freedom to do kind of what I wanted to do. If I wanted to be successful, if I wanted to be lazy, it was all on me. I had the choices, and I like that about the business where I have the choices. I make my choices all day, every day. And when I noticed that in the real world quote, experience, that was a big influencer on me.
So do you think, and I know that we're slightly biased because we are small business owners, but do you think that owning your own small business, yes, there's risks, but there's also rewards? Do you think the rewards far exceed the risks?
Yeah,
And,
definitely, I do.
I mean, you think about building a nest egg or a retirement or a financial future for yourself and your family, and it just makes sense to own your own business and call the shots when you want to call them.
Well, I think what Blake was talking about too was like, we're not only, they're like, okay, if you work this job, you can get your 401k up, and when you're 70 years old, you can retire and have all this money. You're old and you're beaten up, and your mind's waxed down to nothing almost, but your time, you can't get your time back. I think that's the major issue, which is like kind of the debate between being an employee and then being your own boss. It's like, I can take my time and do what I want with my time and craft what I want with my own time, and then also get dividends and money from that. But there's also people that just say, I give up my time for money. Right? So what we're trying to do is kind of skirt that and say we want our own time, we want to make our own money, and we want to create something with that time. And so that's kind of where I dig my heels in the ground, and I'm like, we've only been in really business for like a year, and then Blake's been in there a lot longer, but definitely we're thinking about time. We can always get more money. You got to think about time, right? And I guess my question would be for you, Blake, is how did you feel, I guess when you were with employers, how did you feel about yourself? How did you feel about them whenever they, there's a lot of good bosses out there, but there's a lot more bad bosses out there. And how did those bosses kind of shape the way that you treat your employees now? Because you have a lot of great employees there, a lot of people that I would call my friend. How did the treatment of the bosses you didn't really like kind of, change your perspective and say, I need to be a better person for these people that want to work for me?
Yeah, some things I noticed with when I was working with different companies and there was a boss over me is a lot of the bosses, they want to micromanage over everybody. Yes, they are responsible for everybody. That's part of their job. But from what I saw, they didn't, I guess, trust the employees to do what they were supposed to do, to give them the freedom to, do their job without standing over their back and nitpicking them. What I like to do with my employees, they know they know their job, they know what they're supposed to do, and they know what they're not supposed to do. And I like leaving some things open to them where they can use their mind, they can use their ideas and conduct business kind of outside the box of maybe what I'm even thinking. And if it's good for the company, then I'm all for it. So I like that I'm able to allow them to, freely think and come up with ideas to better the business, to better their position, to make their job a little easier for them, where I'm not just standing over their back telling them what to do 24/7. I don't like that, and so I'm definitely not the boss that does that. And so I think that's just a good tactic to use, to not stand over someone's back and nitpick everything with them.
So there's many companies that go about saying, oh, we're trying to create this culture, this office culture where everyone feels comfortable, where they can express themselves, where they can tell you who they are, right? And they're trying to create this family atmosphere, and most of the time it's not that way. Would you say that what you're trying to cultivate and what you have developed at Royal Coins is somewhat of a family-like culture where people can come and bring their thoughts and ideas, and everything's welcome? I mean, you may disagree, but I mean, don't you disagree with some of your family members some of the time anyways?
Yeah, definitely. Having the shop, having a few number of employees, we don't have very many employees there, so I consider them family, friends and family. When it comes down to it, we probably see each other more than we do our family. So why not consider them family and treat them like family? And it gives everybody a better work environment.
Yeah, I feel like the evil sometimes of growing a business and scaling a business is that you really can't give the individualized attention to every employee. It's not just that I pay your paycheck and you do my work. It's like, hey, Luis says, oh, I need this day off, or Dwight says, oh, I need this, or can I come in an hour late, or I got to take these few days off. I really need to spend time with whoever. Like, I feel like there's that. When you create something so big, I feel like you're shutting yourself off to the availability to not only be their boss, but to be their friend, right? Like, it's, and so I think what you guys do well there is, like, they have an idea or they have a need, or they don't have a problem going, hey, we need something, we need your help, or hey, think about this idea. And I think that's something that you guys gotten down well. What's kind of so I see a lot of people that actually start working for other people and they stop posting on Instagram, they stop doing stuff on Instagram and Facebook and trying to promote themselves. I already know the answer to this, but we're going to ask it because of the podcast and everything. I see a lot of guys, and even your wife, posting a bunch and promoting their brand. How has that kind of helped your business in a way? Because, it is kind of interesting how that all plays a part in Royal Coins.
I'm a big promoter of entrepreneurship. I like small businesses. I like helping small businesses. So whenever I can, I love to promote any small business, any good small business out there that I can. If it's my wife's business, doing the personal training and fitness, or if it's one of my employees, coin business or bullion business that he has going, I'm 100% for it. I back him 100%, and I'll give my insights to it. If they ask for my help, I'll help them. And I don't see it as competition. So a lot of, like, I think what you're mentioning is when somebody goes to work for another company and they're both kind of doing the same thing, that the employee basically stops their personal side of it. Whereas when my employees, if they want to sell coins on the side, I'm all for it. They can buy some stuff from us. They can buy it from wherever they want. I don't consider it as a negative thing. I think it's a positive thing, and it definitely helps drive even more customers to the shop. Because it goes, what's the word here?
Hand in hand.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, where I'm helping them, and then they in return help us. If we have something that they need, we'll get it for them. If they have something we need, they'll get it for us.
Yeah, what I think Drew's trying to say is when people become an employee, and we're not saying that this is the same for Royal Coins, but when people become an employee, they settle for somewhat of an employee mindset. Okay, I'm in here for 8 hours. I'm going to do what he says, but I'm not going to do anything more. And I think your secret weapon with Royal Coins is, yes, they get paid X, right? But they come in and they put it their 100% in, and they're always innovating. They're not putting on the employee hat when they come in, and we've seen it at different places, and it's tragic. People give up on themselves and their future, and it's not beneficial to the company nor to yourself or your future.
Well, I feel like what Casey's trying to say is that once someone walks into a building to apply for a job or whatever, if they get the job, they take off their individualism hat and they put on their employee hat. I think that when you walk into Royal Coins, it's like, it's if you work there or not, you have your individualism hat on at all times. And even like how me and Casey structure our business a little bit, I may put in like 12 hours of work on one day, Casey put it in like 4. Or he puts in 12, I put in 6, right? But sometimes you need people's availability and individualism and time and their brain energy just to listen to them, right? Like if we were working, or you were working your employees like strictly 8 hours a day, they got to be doing this, and I got to be over them, and I got to do all this stuff, and they can't have their phone out. At a certain point, they lose their individualism, but also you're not going to get anything in return from them. You're not going to get something like, hey, Luis thinks we should do this, or this is how we could scale that, or this is how we can bring more customers in. I feel like if you leave people to think for themselves, especially even if it's in a work environment, you allow people to make you stronger, and you make them stronger. I'm hogging the mic a little bit, but I was talking to this girl today, and we were talking a little bit of Bible or whatever, and I sent her the podcast and stuff, and she listened to the whole thing. But she was like, well, what you're doing, Drew, is basically on this podcast is you're sowing seeds. And we do this because we like it and we enjoy it, and we want to see people grow and be their own coin dealer or be their own boss and whatever they like. And so I think what you were saying earlier, Blake, was like they could sell their own coins, they can do whatever they want to do, because I want to be their friend, and I want to, whatever they want to do in life, I want to support that. And it doesn't, and sometimes, and most times, you don't think about the bottom line. It's like, I don't have to think about the money. I'm thinking about the person, thinking about who they are and what they want to achieve. And I think that when we actually do that, we give of our time, we give of our energy, and we want people to succeed. In return, which we don't even think about, is like Luis says, hey, okay, well, I wanted to buy these coins to resell, or I wanted to buy this bullion to resell, but hey, Blake, I can't buy all this. I need you to buy half of it because, it'd be good inventory for the shop, all this stuff. But I feel like if people cut that individualism off, you miss out on so many opportunities because they're not stronger people. They're just people that have to show up and listen to you, right? And so kind of introduce a few of your employees for us, Blake, if you wouldn't mind. Just tell us a little bit about them and why you see them as family.
Yes, we have 2 employees at the shop that are full-time and 2, got my wife with 3 part-time. And so I think it's a really good mix for the environment that we're in, where we're at in Houston, the clientele that we bring in. Everybody has their own role. Everybody's able to assist different customers differently in their own special way, and it really works out perfectly, I think. So we have my employee that's been there the longest is Dwight. He is really good with customers. He came from working 2 jobs that were real customer oriented jobs, and when we offered him the opportunity to come just work 1 job instead of 2, he thought that was great and came on over, and he's been a great employee ever since. And our other full-time employee is Luis. He was working at a car dealership doing some automotive stuff, and he actually was a customer of ours for many years and inquired one day about a job opening. And at the time, we didn't have any openings. We had a full house. I think we had 4 or 5 employees at the time. And so he said, just keep it in the back of your mind if there's anything that comes up. And one day, a year later or whatnot, a position came up and called him up and said, hey, got a job opening if you want to come by. So he thought about it and kind of put it off, and then thought about it some more and made the decision and basically quit his other job and came to work at the shop. And he's been a great employee ever since, and he's loving it, and he's in the coins and bullion, so it's a real good fit for him. We have a few other employees that help us part-time, doing our world coins and some other sorting and things like that. And then my wife comes and helps every once in a while when she's not doing her fitness training.
So I know that. So Christy's kind of the one that's been there the least in terms of employee status, right? Is that
Yeah.
And what do you think she kind of adds to the shop? Because whenever I go in there, it's like you could tell a man's been there, right? But then when Christy's there, it's pretty cool because you get that kind of you get that she's there and she gives a different perspective. How has the shop kind of changed ever since Christy's came there and started helping you guys out?
Well, she has a lot of good ideas that she brings to the table. We made a lot of changes on different platforms and different ways we do business at the shop. When customers come in, she's very talkative, very friendly, customer friendly, and all the customers really like her. She gets into good conversations and different conversations besides coin and bullion. She'll talk about her chickens and stuff like that, and the customers just love it. So it just brings a different, it brings something different to the table that people aren't used to, I guess, in a coin shop. And people really like when she's there, and when she's not there, they come in and ask for her. So I'll have to send her a text and say, "Well, you want to drive up to the shop and see this customer?" But she's usually doing her fitness stuff. She's got a new fitness company. Called Royal Hard Fitness, and she has a website and is getting that working right now. So she's been focusing on that lately.
Well, I mean, and this is me being a person that has observed wives and I guess co-owners of businesses at different shows. Is you have the wife sitting off in the corner, and this isn't shaming them that they're not necessarily interested in the coin hobby. They're there and very supportive, but they're usually sitting off in the corner, and the husband's dealing, talking to people, getting things done. What I've noticed is when it comes to your table and your presence at different shows is both you and Christy, if you're both there together, she is helpful, she is attentive, cordial, and she's into it 100%, just like you are, trying to make it happen, trying to make the impact that you're wanting to at these coin shows, and I think that is remarkable.
Yeah, she's very smart. She picked up the business super quick. She helps me at coin shows, which is amazing. As going to a coin show, setting up and helping the customers and tearing down and everything is a lot of work. And so when she comes, she helps do everything from setting up the table. She came up with several ideas to make the table even look more presentable, which is great. And a lot of customers comment on that, and everyone's liking the new little presentation that we have set up at the table. She knows the coin, she knows the bullion, she knows how to work deals with people, she knows how to do discounts and all that stuff. She's a huge help going to the coin show.
And to kind of add on to, and this is a bit off topic, but I think that it's going in the right direction. So Drew asked, what does Christy add to the coin shop, right? And I'd like to take that question, I guess, a step deeper. What does Christy add to your life? I mean, you were here as a coin dealer before you met Christy. What has she helped you become a stronger man, a stronger dealer? I mean, do you have any additions? We talked about this.
Yeah, it's like, you got to marry the right person, and I feel like in a lot of ways that, we're answering our own question, but it's like I feel like in a lot of ways she's entrepreneurship. She wants to see you succeed. She wants to see your health succeed, and I feel like a lot of those are so much of parallels, even for a great business, but also for a great marriage. And I don't know. I don't think it's a question, but I think it's a thing that we're like, man, you guys are doing it right. You guys are doing it proper. You guys are both super supportive for each other, and it's pretty cool to see for sure, especially in the world that we're in now with so much dysfunction. I think that was that kind of a key role in when you I know this is it might be personal, but it's like was it kind of a key role when you started dating Christy? It was like somebody's asking about me, someone's wanting to see how my business is going. I know that maybe when she was dating you, that she even came to the shop and was involved with talking with Luis. How did she kind of play a role in changing just how you saw the world and how you kind of bettered yourself since being married to her?
Yeah, pretty much since day one that I met her, she's down to do whatever, whatever is going to be beneficial for us or fun or anything. When the very first day she came over here, I like to do a lot of organic gardening and grow my own food and things like that. So she was out it just happened to be that time of year where we were tilling up the garden, getting ready to plant some new vegetables and everything. So she was out there in the middle of the day in the heat, with a shovel and a tiller and helped me turn over the garden. So right then I knew that she was on the same kind of wavelength that I was, and it kind of just spiraled from there. And she's very into health and fitness and got me working out, eating right, dieting, got the diet right, got the everything health related right. So she's very motivating. She's a real positive outlook on everything. So if I have an idea, she'll ride with me with it and push me to keep doing it. And even if I think it might be a stupid idea, she keeps pushing me to keep going forward with it. And some ideas have come out, real successful. So I think she's just a huge motivating factor in everything.
Yeah, I think that's something that we saw from the get-go. And to talk a little bit more about the business, I think whenever I used to work at Chick-fil-A, it was like my goal as a shift lead was to make sure that if I put someone on window, if I put someone on bagging, if I put someone out in the dining room, I wanted to wanted to have every employee basically crafted to do any position they could. So when the time arose, that kind of was fulfilled. Is that kind of the same way with the shop? Like if you had to take off a week, or if Luis had to take off a week, could everybody kind of just fill in? Because I think that's just such a vital role, especially for any really business that's growing and being cultivated.
Yeah, definitely. The employees need to know kind of all aspects of, especially a small business with only a few employees. Everybody's going to kind of pick up the next person's slack if they have to leave or something comes up, or they just can't come in that week. So pretty much everybody knows how to do every aspect of the business. Everyone has their different ways of doing it, but for the most part, everybody can step up and keep things rolling. If I'm not there, or Christy's not there, or the other employees aren't there, we can all pick up and keep it rolling. And Christy's not there all the time. She's the employee that's there the least, but if I'm out of town at a coin show for a week or whatever the case may be, she can go up there and run the business just the way I run it, and keep it open and going and the wheels turning.
This is somewhat of an off-topic question, but do you believe that the American dream is dead?
The American dream, to come and have your own business, to make your own decisions, to make your own money, to make your own time management. I don't think it's dead. I think there are forces out there who are trying to kill it and make people dependent on, let's say, big government. But as of right now, there's still opportunities for everybody, especially people who are coming into this country recently from other countries. Huge opportunities to get part of the American dream, to start their own business, to make their own time schedules, to kind of do what they want. So I think it's still there, but there are forces I see that are trying to stop that.
So if we were talking, about your business, and people were just now knowing Blake for the first time, what would you tell them that you offered, and kind of what do you guys sell, and where's a good place that people can kind of reach you in case they wanted to check out your website and things about you guys?
So at our shop, we try to do a lot of things. We've done a lot of things in the past. We've cut some things out. We've added some new things, but we try to do a wide variety of things. So we do everything from collector coins to world coins to currency to scrap gold and silver buy-in, rare exotic bullion stuff. We have coin supplies. We have books, reference materials, metal detectors, all kinds of stuff. So we like to have a wide variety, and that's like a key. When I go to the coin shows and there's a new seller at the coin show, I want to tell them to have variety. That's a big part, is to have a wide variety of things, because you're never going to appease everybody. But if you can appease a lot of people a little bit, it all works out.
A lot of companies go about, I guess, bragging or expressing one of the most important tools or things that they have to offer their customers and future business partners is their experience. How much combined experience, does Royal Coins have within the coin and bullion space?
Let me add that up real quick.
Need a calculator?
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty high number. Let's see.
The last I checked, I thought it was more than a century, but
yeah, it's going to be over 150 years.
Yeah, so that's something that has to be, especially accounted for, because there's just a lot of people out there that it's not 115 years, it's 15 months, and they're on to the next gig, right? So having 150 years under your belt, especially with different perspectives and different understandings, is I think it's vital for a coin shop. that's kind of the reason why we don't have a coin shop, me and Casey. It's because it's like, you know, we couldn't handle. I don't think we could handle every single little thing that came in, and like you guys do with precision. So that's kind of a very interesting thing, and something that we really commend you guys on. But yeah, it's thank you for telling us your story, Blake, and we're so thankful to have you on the podcast. And you're the guy. You know, we're going to be asking you a bunch more questions because you're on every show with me and Casey. And just let people know, though, like if people wanted to buy coins from you or if they wanted to sell you coins, where would be a great place for them to kind of reach out before we wrap up?
Also, they can find our store in Houston. We're at 4658 Beechnut Street in Houston, Texas. Or they can find us on the web, on our website, royalcoins.com. Or they can find us on Instagram under Royal Coins Houston.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast today. We just gave a little bit of a snippet of what Blake's all about and what Royal Coins does for the community of the coin people and what they like to do around Houston. If you guys want to continue to watch and listen to our podcast, please subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below. If you have any questions for Blake about who he is or about his story, please leave those down there for him. He would love to answer them, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But until next time, we will see you guys in the next podcast.